Here is the news in special English. From Washington, I'm Christopher Cruz. Diplomat Lakhdar Brahimi says he is still worried about the conflict in Syria following his meeting with Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. The two met in Damascus on Monday to discuss how to peacefully end the country's 21-month-old civil war. Mr. Brahimi did not provide details of their talks or describe any signs of progress. The Syrian state news agency reported that President Assad said he supports any peace effort that protects Syria's independence. This is Mr. Brahimi's third visit to Damascus since he was named the United Nations and Arab League Special Representative to Syria in September. Because of fighting near the Damascus airport, Mr. Brahimi was forced to travel to the Syrian capital by car from Lebanon. Afghan and NATO officials say a female Afghan police officer killed an American advisor in Kabul on Monday. The shooting happened inside the heavily guarded police headquarters. Canadian Brigadier General John Madower is a NATO spokesman in Kabul.
The perpetrator is in custody of the Afghan authorities. She was dressed as a member of the Afghan Uniformed Police, although her affiliation with the police is not known at this point in time.
Officials say the shooting is another so-called insider attack, in which Afghan forces shoot members of the Western coalition working with Afghan units. At least 60 coalition members have been killed in insider attacks this year. The suspect is said to be the first woman to carry out such an attack. 2 volunteer firefighters were shot and killed Monday in a small town in the American state of New York. 2 other firefighters were wounded as they tried to put out a house fire near the waters of Lake Ontario. Medical workers say the wounded firefighters have serious injuries. For a period, gunfire blocked efforts to put out the fire, which spread to several other homes. News reports say the gunman died. The shooting happened 10 days after a school shooting in the nearby state of Connecticut. 6 adults and 20 children were killed in that attack. Storms may affect millions of holiday travelers in the United States over the next several days. A storm that left almost 2 meters of snow in California is now moving east across the country. The storm is expected to reach the heavily populated Northeast by the end of the week. High winds, rain, and snow may delay flights at airports in New York, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. In the southern United States, weather experts warned of the possibility of tornadoes and severe thunderstorms. More than 85 million Americans are expected to travel at least 80 kilometers away from their home for the holidays. Most of that travel will be on roads. You are listening to the news in VOA Special English, coming your way from Washington. Philippines President Benigno Aquino has signed Asia's first law making forced disappearances a crime. The VOA's Karen Leggett reports.
The new human rights law in the Philippines requires life in prison for any government agents found guilty of being involved in forced disappearances. The new law also prohibits the use of secret detention centers and bans the military from holding people without a time limit. More than 1,000 political activists have disappeared in the Philippines since the dictatorship of Ferdinand Marcos began in 1972. Human Rights Watch official Carlos Condi told VOA that until now, the government has not been effective in controlling its own security forces.
We're hoping that this will send a signal to the state security forces that, look, the days of doing things like they did during the Marcos period, those are going to be over.
Mr. Condi also says the new law could be a signal to other countries in the area to end their own forced disappearances.
If you look at, for instance, the recent abduction or disappearance of one social activist in Laos, that's a concern. And obviously in other countries such as Bangladesh, South Asian countries, there are these things happening. These are really cause for concern.
Human Rights Watch Asia Director Brad Adams praised the Philippine president for working to end this black chapter in Philippine history. Mr. Adams said President Aquino can now be a human rights leader in Asia. I'm Karen Leggett.
Indian officials closed roads and underground rail stations Monday in central New Delhi. They were trying to end the huge demonstrations over the mob rape and beating last week of a 23-year-old female student.
Justice! We want justice! We want justice!
Police put barriers along roads leading to India Gate, a large structure in the capital where the protesters gathered. The rape victim was attacked after she and a male friend were given a ride on a bus in New Delhi. Government lawyers in Russia have asked a court to cancel charges against a prison official accused of causing the death of a well-known lawyer. Dmitry Kratov formerly headed the Moscow prison where Sergei Magnitsky was held. Mr. Kratov is accused of denying the lawyer medical treatment while he was waiting to be tried. On Monday, prosecutors told the court that the actions of the prison official did not lead to the lawyer's death. Sergei Magnitsky died in 2009 after being denied medical care. Rights activists said he lived in what they called torturous conditions during the 12 months he spent waiting for his trial to begin. He was arrested in 2008 after discovering a plot to steal $230 million from the Russian government. Some of the same officials whom he accused of being involved in the plot later accused him of tax evasion and ordered him arrested. And finally, at this hour, thousands of people from all over the world are now in the West Bank to celebrate Christmas. They have gathered in the town of Bethlehem, at the place where Christians believe Jesus the Christ was born. In Rome, the leader of the Roman Catholic Church, Pope Benedict, led a religious service to mark Christmas Eve at St. Peter's Basilica.